over Adelaide Olympic, which is a fantastic result there for Croydon, and Conrad Kosnick from the ex-Modbury.
Ex-Modbury player, played up front with Conrad a few times. He's a very nice boy and good to see him on the score sheet. Yeah,
he's a great player and a great another goal striker, so fantastic, good stuff there for Croydon. Pirates and Adelaide Comets played out a draw with Scotty Unglub. He's always scoring there for Pirates, which is fantastic, and Kostopoulos for Comets. Salisbury getting another win there, 3-1 against Panthers, which is fantastic for Salisbury, starting to get a bit of confidence back into the club with Agars, Shane Pearce and Monteleone scoring for Salisbury, and Wilkinson yet again scoring for Panthers. Sassy 4, Adelaide Cobras 5. Very interesting match because at half-time Sassy were in the lead 3-2 and Cobras came back. So Dario Stacker scoring a double, Michael Donk and Joe Costa scoring for Sassy, and Jackson scoring a double for Cobras. Ernie Calaro, one of your old mates, yes. And Con Karateblis and Oliver Tatani. So a couple of Campbelltown boys there.
Campbelltown boys. I didn't get to play with Ernie, but I got kicked by him a few times.
Oh, did you really? Yeah. Okay. And of course the White City Woodville match and Cumberland match was a 0-0 draw, which we went out to film a very, very tight match, Velimir.
Yeah, it probably typifies, a top of the table clash, like if you can see the Sassy and Adelaide Cobras games, I think both backlines had the night off that day, but at Frank Mitchell Park, both the defences were working overtime, it was very much typified, top of the table clash. White City had gone on a good run of 3 home wins, and they're looking for their 4th home win in a row to basically help set up their season, and it wasn't to be, not for the lack of trying. There was situations there where in the first 15 to 20 minutes, White City were well on top. Cumberland could argue in the last 15 to 20 minutes, they had some reasonable chances at goal. So, typical top of the table clash.
Yeah, it was a very good match. Let's have a look at the footage that we took of that match. And as I said, as you alluded to, it was very, very tight and a lot of the pendulum swinging from side to side as they were able to get on top of each other. Interesting here. First, it's right from the kickoff, Jovanovic gets injured here. Is that correct?
I wasn't actually quite alluded to that, but I know that he started the game afterwards and had a couple quite chances, but I wasn't quite sure what the little ritual was at the start of the game, actually.
Yeah, so something happened here, and he's like holding his neck, he's holding his head. We'll pan back to him shortly, and I wasn't quite aware of what type of injury he did get, because it looked like something to do with his neck or back, because of the way he came off that body check from the Cumberland player.
I think maybe he went up for an aerial challenge or something like that and came down a little bit worse for wear, but the good news is that he trained lightly on Monday night and a little bit more intensely last night, so hopefully Sergio will make a full recovery.
Yeah, definitely. He has been fantastic for your club this season. Someone that you can, he's like I guess for you, he's like a Maury. He's there that he can basically guarantee that when you put a ball up to him, he's able to finish off.
He's one of those types, he, like my esteemed guest next to us, he knows where the goals are. And it's one of those situations where, he doesn't need a second look. Sometimes it's as little as 2 touches, one to take the ball under control, one to put it in the net, and his third movement is to celebrate with the crowd. So he's very much got a good goal scoring pedigree in the last couple of years within the local league. So hopefully everyone at White City will urge him on, and hopefully that will continue.
Now we saw Andy Lee there pulling off a great defensive move. He was so strong for the club on Saturday. I haven't seen a lot of White City obviously, but he was terrific in defence. Yeah,
it's unlike Andy Lee to get involved in a physical confrontation, so I purely say that tongue in cheek, but no, he's a bit of a rock at the back for us, and I know he's very popular around the club, and for the fact is that he goes in very hard, and it's his second stint at White City, and one of the things he said about re-signing, to White City, that this is where he wants to end his playing career, because the first time he was there, he was under the guidance of Milan Ivanovic, and he learned so much, and so the second time he's here, he said, this is the club I want to finish with, and he's having a great season so far.
Now, as we spoke about, very different to the Sassy Cobras match. We had great defending by both sides here, being able to stop any leads made forward, as I said, by both sides. So it was terrific.
It was actually, and I suppose, you know, like if you said at the start of the season, these two would be the top teams, and would you settle for, you know, 2 draws out of the, you know, top of the table clash? You know, on paper, you probably say you would. But I know, you know, White City at this point in time is being very ambitious, and hopefully they can win the league by being first on the table and automatic promotion. So I would probably think that the boys could be slightly disappointed.
It's amazing that when you look at the goals for that they've scored, you know, White City scored 19 and Cumberland 14, and neither could find the goal during this match. You know?
I was amazed just filming this match. I was amazed that there were lack of goals, but again, we say the defence was working overtime, and this is and not only that, but the keepers, both keepers again played brilliantly. I mean, Damien Stam has been doing very, very well.
Yeah, he's come back to the club as well, and you know, he's a very popular guy. But you know, credit where credit's due. Cumberland, you know, really you know, pushed us at the very end. You know, the 2 McDonald boys who have made appearances for White City in the past gave us a bit of trouble. So credit is where credit's due, and they really did make sure that there was a game of it for the full 90 minutes. And I think a stalemate was as a fair result in the end. Now,
in this next lot of footage over the next couple of minutes, you do start to see the McDonald brothers gaining momentum, and they were there, but just missing out on a couple of occasions. He could have headed that one in as well. So there was quite a few chances like that by Cumberland as they did start to pepper the goals.
One of the words you can describe Robbie McDonald with is explosive. You know, he was a very, very popular guy at White City last year. You know, once he got off the mark, you know, like everyone held their breath in anticipation. So he was a guy that we'd have to take care of, obviously being on an opposing side, and you know, we wish him very well for the season.
Yeah, definitely. And it was Anthony Stamsy in goals, not Damien.
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, there's 3 of them, so you're likely to get confused.
And they're all very, very good players too. But again, I mean, here we see again Cumberland time after time trying to get that ball up front, but not being successful.
These things happen.
That's why it's so important, isn't it? That goal, you know. That's why I think people from a non-soccer background don't understand just how important that single goal is.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. If either side got up, Cumberland had their first loss last week against Salisbury, or the week before, I should say, and if White City got up, they would have had a little bit of a buffer at the top, and this way, you know, it's nice and even with the first 2 places.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what I do want to mention is Stavros Perizos. What's happening? He's not starting. Is he injured? Is he coming back from injury?
Stavros, or Stav as it is affectionately known at the club, had a little bit of an interrupted pre-season due to injuries. So it's a bit of a steady as she goes. Seasons are long, and Stav's experience, you know, you can't buy. So as time goes on, we've blooded a few young players at the start this year, which has been very good to see. One of them you see just coming off there, Milos Radotre, and Dragan Lekic playing at left back. So we blooded some real youngsters this year for the start of the Premier League. So Stav is there. He's gaining full match fitness pretty soon, and hopefully we'll be able to see him in the starting 11.
And of course, he went off and got married as well. So there's another little factor to his life and his game.
I suppose we